Hello and welcome along to round 10 of ETF1 League Season 6. We are at the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's the final round of the season. We started in Bahrain in the Middle East and we're finishing up in the Middle East at Yas Marina. So let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship standings after the last round in Las Vegas, and Peter Morgan is in first place with 176 points. He is ahead of Solomon Fakri, who's on 162 points. So there's 14 points between the top two. So Solomon will have to outscore Peter Morgan by 15 points at least if he wants to win the championship. You've got Chris Padajak in third place with 112 points, ahead of Trent Fuller with 86 points, and Blake Williamson with 70 points. As we take a quick look at the constructors' standings, your champions Scuderia Ferrari with 274 points, well ahead of Mercedes with 190 points, and Aston Martin with 129 points, ahead of Red Bull Racing and McLaren. So let's take a closer look here at the Yas Marina Circuit. We were last here in Season 2 where Matt Allison won for Red Bull. He also won in Season 1 when he was driving for Williams. And as is the case this season, both those races were the last race of the season. So let's take a look and see how the drivers line up after qualifying here at Yas Marina. And it's Peter Morgan on pole position, putting his Mercedes on the front row ahead of Solomon Fakri in second place, the 10th behind Blake Williamson in third position, in McLaren 0.3 of a second behind pole position. Trent Fuller in fourth place, 1.4 seconds behind, and Chris Padajak found himself getting disqualified during qualifying. Let's take a look at the highlights now from the final round of the season at Yas Marina. The lights are out and your championship contenders go side by side into the first turn. Blake Williamson has a great start as he makes a move on Solomon Fakri into the hairpin. And before the first lap's even over, Blake Williamson finds himself in first position, ahead of Peter Morgan and Solomon Fakri. Peter Morgan overtakes Blake Williamson for the lead. They almost go three wide with Solomon Fakri into the hairpin. Blake and Solomon get a bit too close to each other on track and find themselves getting tangled up in the chicane. This allows Trent Fuller and Chris Padajak to pass. Trent Fuller's up to second place, just ahead of Solomon Fakri, Chris Padajak in fourth, Blake Williamson in fifth, and there's your leader, Peter Morgan. Lap 3, Solomon Fakri has passed Trent Fuller for second place, but Chris Padajak and the Aston Martin driver find themselves battling on track for third. Trent Fuller goes a little bit wide, and it allows both the drivers behind him to really catch up. With those behind battling for position, this allows Solomon Fakri to go and catch up to the leader, Peter Morgan. It's lap 4, and the battle for third continues between Aston Martin, Ferrari and McLaren. Chris Padajak manages to get ahead for third, leaving Blake and Trent to fight for the minor positions as they fight side by side through the marina complex. The battle between Trent and Blake Williamson would continue on lap 5, but they get a little bit close in the chicane, and Trent would hit and spin Blake Williamson. The Aston Martin driver letting the McLaren driver get ahead and continue the race. As we watch the incident from another angle, despite having a good start and leading at the end of the first lap, a couple of incidents later, Blake Williamson is down in 4th position. It's lap 14 and Trent Fuller's back in a rhythm, having pitted on lap 12 for the hard tyres. They're all warmed up and he's going again as he hits the bollard across the track. It's lap 19 and after extending his stint on the mediums, Chris Padajak comes out on the softs just behind Blake Williamson. Blake pitted earlier on lap 11, putting the softs on. They're fighting for 4th and 5th position, and Chris Padajak gets the slipstream on the McLaren. Meanwhile, up ahead, the championship contenders are having an epic battle for the win, although unfortunately for Solomon, he is carrying some time penalties. It's lap 24 and the battle between Ferrari and Mercedes, Solomon Thackeray and Peter Morgan, continues on as the sun sets on the Yas Marina Circuit. And after 29 laps, Solomon Thackeray across the line in 1st position, but with the time penalties he's carrying, he will finish in 2nd place behind Peter Morgan. And Chris Padajak crosses the line in 3rd place, a podium finish for Ferrari. And Blake Williamson crosses the line in 4th for McLaren, and Trent Fuller in 5th position for Aston Martin. And here are the podium celebrations from the race.
Consistent, I guess. Ferrari sandwich. Ah, pump. There it is, yeah.
And there we go. Peter Morgan takes the victory here in Abu Dhabi. Finds himself in a Ferrari sandwich on the podium there as they spray the race winner with champagne. And Peter Morgan also gets your driver of the day. So let's look at the driver of the day results through the entire season, and we had 5 drivers pick up 2 awards each. And the teams represented were Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes. as we take a look at the complete race results. Now, most of the drivers were on a one-stop strategy, but the top three pitted late for softs to try and get the fastest lap time off each other. But it was Peter Morgan who ended up with the fastest lap there, the 125.2, and all the drivers receiving penalties except for your race winner, Peter Morgan. So let's take a look at the final drivers' standings after the last race of the season. And after 5 race victories, Peter Morgan is your Season 6 Drivers' Champion for ETF1 League. He has 203 points at the end of the season, ahead of Solomon Fakri, who finishes second with 180 points and 2 race victories, including his first ETF1 victory at Silverstone. And Chris Padajak finishes in 3rd position for the 3rd time in ETF1 League history with 127 points on the board. And Trent Fuller finishes in 4th position. That's his best finish for ETF1 League, and is on 96 points there, ahead of Blake Williamson, 82 points in 5th. And Liam Tipping, who won the last 2 ETF1 League Drivers' Championship titles, finished in 6th place, took 1 victory in Spain. Hayden Veld finishes in 7th, took 1 victory in Australia. And Liam Jensen finishes in 8th, took 1 victory in Bahrain at the season opener. And Harsha Hossel finishes in 9th place. So let's take a look at the final constructors standings for Season 6, and Scuderia Ferrari finished with 307 points, finishing ahead of Mercedes, who have 217 points, and Aston Martin end up in 3rd position with 139 points. They finish ahead of Red Bull, who end up in 4th place with 111 points, and McLaren 5th place there with 82 points at the end of the season. So that wraps things up here in Abu Dhabi, the final race of ETF1 League Season 6. We're going to leave you with a photo montage of all the action here at the Yas Marina Circuit, and we'll be back for the next season, ETF1 League Season 7. So we'll catch you guys at the next race, but until then, it's bye for now.